Good evening, Gators. This is Aaron, and you're listening to the Oxrageous post-game podcast for Florida and Alabama. We knew going in this game was going to be kind of a gauge of where we were as a program. And as far as that went, it was very revealing. Alabama destroyed us in every phase of the game. And the only reason Florida kept it within 5 touchdowns was because Alabama made so many uncharacteristic mistakes, 4 turnovers right off the bat. The Florida secondary was non-existent. And they let Alabama's best player, that Cooper, have a record day. They didn't feel like covering him was important. They also allowed Sims, the Bama quarterback, to have a record day as well. There's a lot of records being set against the Gators and our supposedly good defense. Sims, of course, had almost 300 yards at the end of the first quarter. But again, Florida managed to stay in it due to turnovers. Driscoll was dreadful again, and there's extreme concern about him going forward. Some quarterbacks have it and some do not, and I personally think we've seen enough of Driscoll over the last several years to know we're only going to get so much out of him. Now, do I think the coaches see it that way? No. Do I think the coaches are going to put in the backup anytime soon? No. No, I think Driscoll, barring injury, is the quarterback the rest of the year no matter what. And if Muschamp is retained, he'll be the quarterback next year as well. So settle in and get used to Jeff Driscoll. But, I mean, we're talking about a game where they had over 400 more yards than we did at the end of 3 quarters. 400 more. It was remarkable. And really the final back-breaking play that ended it for good was the 3rd and 23 in the third quarter for Bama, where they threw a screen pass and he ends up picking it up. Now the Gators acted like they'd never seen a screen pass before, especially on 3rd and long. So I don't know what was going on with the defense today. We already know about the offense. I can't sit here and say it's Roper's fault. I don't know. It's too early to say that yet. When you have a quarterback who's a poor decision maker, it's hard to sit there and blame the offensive coordinator. So I'm not ready to throw Roper under the bus yet. But our offense was terrible. And the defense, which of course is supposed to be the heart of the team, the heart of a Muschamp team, was also terrible. So you got a terrible offense, you got a terrible defense. That equals a long, long year. So let me go ahead and torture you by looking briefly at this box score here. 648 yards to Alabama, compared to 200 for our Gators. We managed 93 passing yards, 93, on 9 of 28 passing, and 2 interceptions. We did manage 107 rushing yards. Jeff Driscoll, the leading rusher, with 59 yards on the ground. As for Alabama, 449 yards through the air, and another 199 on the ground. It would have been a lot worse than that, but they ran out the clock in the fourth quarter. Our Gators couldn't even score, even in garbage time in the fourth quarter. I don't know what that'll tell you. Okay, so I'm done looking at that stupid box score, but what are we looking at from here? This is Muschamp's 4th year as head coach. And yet we have these games, and this was a very tough game that very few people were expecting to win. Alabama's a premier team, but it went on to show how far we are away from being an elite team. This was a drubbing, full of a lot of errors on both sides of the ball. The team just looked unprepared and poorly coached, and here we are in the 4th season of Muschamp still talking about this kind of stuff. So where does it end? I don't know. We've got Muschamp the rest of the year. Are we looking at another 4-8 season? Maybe. While the rest of our schedule is in Alabama at home, it's extremely tough. And we're going to have a very tough time with South Carolina. We're going to have a very tough time with Georgia, and I'm worried we're going to have a very, very tough time at Tennessee in 2 weeks. That's the one streak we desperately don't want to see end. I'd rather the Kentucky streak end before this Tennessee streak. But it is what it is. We've got Muschamp. We've got Driscoll. That's the way it's going to stay. No changes are going to be made. Calling for people to be firing is stupid. It's a waste of time. Calling for Driscoll to get benched is a waste of time. So everyone can just settle in and watch everything unfold on the field. Maybe it'll get better. I don't know. But we're very lucky not to be 1-2 right now. So, very sorry about the negative podcast, but my main concern with bringing Muschamp back was we were wasting another season. We've only got so many seasons before we die. And throwing one away when we could have been rebuilding with someone else is a tough pill to swallow. So we got a bye next week. We got a lot of time to think about this and a lot of time to talk about it. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about on the message board. So come on over to Gator Chatter if you want to get down and commiserate with your fellow brethren. That's what message boards are for. Everybody have a great week, and go Gators.